1980, a pivotal moment in history. It was the aftermath of the infamous failed operation known as Eagle Claw, a mission that aimed to rescue American hostages in Iran. During this turmoil, a man named Richard Marchenko stepped onto the stage of destiny. He had a vision that would give birth to the legendary SEAL Team 6, a name that would soon resonate worldwide. The United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a tense standoff known as the Cold War. In this high-stakes game of international intrigue, spies seemed to be hiding around every corner, lurking in the shadows. And the U.S. Navy found itself at a crossroads. They needed to do something extraordinary, something daring, to safeguard their nation's security. The Navy had a singular mission in mind: to identify those strategic points where they were most vulnerable, even in places they believed were impenetrable fortresses. It was Admiral James Lyons who had a vision that matched the momentousness of the times. He turned to Richard Marchenko, a man who was about to embark on a journey that would change the course of history forever. Now let's fast forward 4 pivotal years to 1984. By this time, the world had witnessed some incredible developments, both on the global stage and within the U.S. Navy. It was during this period that a significant transformation was taking place. In the years leading up to 1984, SEAL Team 6, under the leadership of Richard Marchenko, had been honing their skills to perfection. They were known for their daring missions and incredible achievements, and their reputation as an elite fighting force was spreading like wildfire. But here's where things get truly remarkable. In 1984, Richard Marchenko made a bold decision. He handed over the reins of SEAL Team 6 to Commander Robert Gormley, because he had an even bolder plan in mind. Marchenko envisioned the creation of a 14-man unit that would push the boundaries of what was possible. This new unit, which would soon be known as Red Cell, was far from ordinary. These individuals were hand-picked for their exceptional skills and unwavering dedication. Their mission was to expose the weak spots in military bases like never before. They used fake IDs, seamlessly blending into the shadows of secrecy. They took down fences with precision, leaving no room for error. And, believe it or not, they even dared to snatch up high-ranking officers, all in the name of uncovering vulnerabilities that could potentially threaten national security. Now, you might be wondering why they chose the name Red Cell for this audacious unit. Well, it's a fascinating piece of history. During the height of the Cold War, when military strategists were constantly simulating various scenarios, they often used the term Red Cell to refer to the opposing force in these war games. This term was a nod to the sea of red flags commonly associated with communist nations, particularly the Soviet Union. But the story doesn't stop there. The Red Cell team had an ingenious approach to documenting their daring exploits. They didn't just rely on written reports or after-action debriefings. No, they took things to a whole new level. To maximize the educational value of their missions and ensure every detail was captured, they enlisted a video crew equipped with specialized low-light equipment. Now here's the twist. The video crew wasn't just there to observe from the sidelines. They had to be as stealthy and daring as the Red Cell members themselves. They infiltrated the very bases where the missions unfolded, ensuring they were in the heart of the action. Talk about dedication and nerve. In 1985, the team pulled off an unbelievable stunt, placing fake explosives on the roof of a command center. They took hostages and carried out pretend attacks. Security hadn't improved at the Navy's nuclear submarine base either. Red Cell members casually strolled onto a nuclear missile submarine during the day. Let's dive deeper into how Red Cell operated. Their audacious operations weren't just for show, they had a profound purpose. Each mission was meticulously recorded and later presented for examination. This wasn't just about daring stunts. It was about shining a spotlight on vulnerabilities within the military that needed urgent attention and rectification. Now, you might be wondering about the rules within this unconventional unit. Well, here's the fascinating part. There weren't many. Under the leadership of Richard Marchenko, Red Cell had an unprecedented level of autonomy. Unlike conventional military units with strict regulations, these elite operatives had the freedom to chart their own course, to push boundaries and to test limits. But, as with any exceptional freedom, it came with its share of challenges. This unconventional approach sometimes led to controversial behavior. During their off-duty hours, it's no secret that Red Cell members enjoyed their fair share of drinking and occasionally even found themselves in heated scuffles. Now hold on to your seats, because we're about to unravel a jaw-dropping turn of events that took place in the year 1986. Picture this. Red Cell, known for their audacious missions, found themselves in the midst of an exercise that would push the boundaries of their daring exploits to an unimaginable level. During this particular exercise, the Red Cell members made a shocking move. They abducted a civilian security guard named Ronald D. Sheridan. The very idea of capturing someone might seem like a vulnerability, but what unfolded next would leave you utterly flabbergasted. Sheridan, an unsuspecting civilian security guard, suddenly found himself thrust into a situation beyond his wildest nightmares. He was subjected to a brutal interrogation that would test the limits of human endurance. The Red Cell members didn't hold back. They pushed him around, roughed him up, and even subjected him to repeated submersion into a bathtub filled with water and a flushing toilet. Imagine the sheer terror and confusion he must have felt during those agonizing 30 hours. The situation had spiraled far beyond what anyone could have anticipated. Sheridan's desperate cries and concerns about a possible broken rib echoed in the room as the unthinkable unfolded. But, my friends, the story takes an unexpected twist. As the ordeal continued, Red Cell members, perhaps realizing the gravity of their actions, shifted gears. They asked Sheridan to confirm his identity, as if suddenly realizing the gravity of their actions. And then, astonishingly, they left him on the bedroom floor. Ronald D. Sheridan's life would never be the same again after those harrowing hours. He would go on to undergo a year of physical therapy, both physically and emotionally scarred by an ordeal that defied all logic and reason. In the aftermath of this shocking incident, the repercussions were felt far and wide. Ronald D. Sheridan, understandably traumatized and physically injured, took a courageous step. He filed a staggering $6 million lawsuit, seeking justice for the unimaginable ordeal he had endured. The legal battle that ensued would become a symbol of the extraordinary circumstances surrounding the Red Cell. But here's where things get even more intriguing. Richard Marchenko, the mastermind behind Red Cell, found himself facing legal troubles. Yet, he had a perspective that added a layer of complexity to the entire saga. Marchenko claimed that the government's response was more than just a reaction to a rogue unit. He argued that the government was, in fact, embarrassed by the problems Red Cell had boldly exposed within the U.S. military. As time marched on, Red Cell met its end in 1992. The curtain closed on this enigmatic and unconventional unit, but their legacy, filled with audacious missions, unorthodox methods, and the blurred line between heroism and recklessness, lives on. That's a wrap for today's video. If you enjoyed this mind-blowing story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content like this. Thanks for watching and stay curious. In the gripping Call of Duty universe, Task Force 141 is a legendary group known for their elite skills. But here's a fascinating fact. They're inspired by the real Task Force 145. This top-secret squad was part of the U.S. Joint Special Operations Command. It brought together American and British military experts, focusing on tracking down important targets in Afghanistan and Iraq's leadership. They played a crucial role during the Iraq War. In 2003, America launched a major invasion into Iraq. Their aims were bold: strip Iraq of its alleged weapons of mass destruction, halt Saddam Hussein's terror links, and liberate the Iraqi people. This mission demanded immense resources, time, and manpower. As battlefields transformed, unconventional forces became vital. Identifying the enemy was tricky. Special missions required elite operators skilled in precisely neutralizing key targets. Consequently, Special Operations Forces began to impact the war significantly. Despite their elite composition and strategic prowess, Task Force 145 faced significant challenges, including near misses in capturing their primary target, Abu Musab al-Zarqawi. One such instance occurred in February 2005. Zarqawi, ever the elusive target, narrowly escaped capture in a dramatic episode. In what seemed like a scene from an intense thriller, he managed to barrel through a checkpoint just out of reach of the task force. This close call wasn't for lack of skill or preparation by Task Force 145. Instead, it was the stringent rules of engagement, ROE, that tied their hands. Rangers positioned at the checkpoint could not fire due to these strict guidelines, allowing Zarqawi a narrow window to escape. This incident highlighted not only the cunning and resourcefulness of Zarqawi, but also underscored the complexities and constraints faced by Task Force 145 in their mission. In response to this unique need, Task Force 145 was born. It was a highly specialized joint special operations force designed for seamless international cooperation. Task Force 145 emerged as one of the most clandestine, formidable, and lethal Tier 1 special operations joint task forces. Their creation marked a pivotal moment in military operations, redefining the capabilities of special forces. This group's story is not just about military strategy, but the evolution of warfare and the birth of a new war hero. Task Force 145's narrative is a testament to the changing face of combat and the relentless pursuit of global peace and security. Abu Musab al-Zarqawi, a notorious terrorist leader, brought turmoil to the Middle East for years. Responsible for several brutal attacks, he became a top target in Jordan and Iraq, attracting a $25 million U.S. bounty, the same amount placed on Osama bin Laden. Even with Saddam Hussein's capture, Iraq continued to struggle with a strong terrorist presence. The U.S. saw combating this terrorism as a critical aim in their Iraqi invasion, recognizing the severe impact on both American service members and Iraqi citizens. This struggle underscored the ongoing challenges in the region. It highlighted the high stakes involved in stabilizing Iraq and countering terrorist influences. Zarqawi's infamy and the significant bounty on his head symbolized the intense efforts to bring an end to his reign of terror and restore peace in the Middle East. In the thick of the Iraq conflict, the United States wasn't going it alone. A continuous stream of intelligence was being gathered, with a vast array of troops and agencies spread across Iraq. This intelligence was crucial for missions targeting high-value terrorist operatives and assets. The US and the UK, inundated with this influx of data, often found themselves sifting through a mix of unreliable leads and dead ends. The urgency was palpable. Every delay brought the risk of more lives lost, necessitating swift and decisive action. Enter 2004, and a significant shift occurred with the appointment of General Stanley A. McChrystal as the commander of the Joint Special Operations Command, the epicenter of America's most elite military units. McChrystal soon grasped the breadth of challenges at hand. The US-UK alliance was under strain due to issues such as the mistreatment of prisoners, political disagreements, and rivalries between various military services. To overcome these hurdles, McChrystal initiated a comprehensive overhaul. His strategic move led to the formation of Task Force 145, destined to become one of the most formidable task forces in U.S. military history. This unit symbolized a new era in military operations, characterized by heightened efficiency, unity, and lethality. The establishment of Task Force 145 marked a pivotal moment in the U.S. military's approach to special operations, particularly in Iraq's complex and volatile environment. Task Force 145 was an unprecedented coalition, a US-UK joint task force bringing together a wide array of special operations units. This included Delta Force, SEAL Team 6, Intelligence Support Activity, the UK's Special Air Service, SAS, and Special Boat Service, SBS, and the CIA's Special Activity Center. But that's not all. The team also encompassed the 24th Special Tactics Squadron, the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, SOAR, MI6, the FBI, Army Rangers, and the Special Reconnaissance Regiments. This ensemble created one of the most covert special operations task forces the world has ever known. However, gathering the finest, the elite of the elite, in one group wasn't without challenges. It wasn't just about assembling top-tier forces under one roof. Ensuring they worked together seamlessly, without conflicts over leadership or strategy, was crucial. To achieve this, Task Force 145 was strategically divided into several smaller task forces, each maintaining the same overarching command, but focused on specific, specialized missions. This structure allowed for a blend of expertise and capabilities, ensuring that each unit could operate effectively within its area of specialization, contributing to the overall success of Task Force 145's complex and critical operations. Task Force 145 was organized into distinct subgroups, each with its specialized composition and role. Task Force Red combined the prowess of Army Rangers with Delta Force operators. Task Force Blue was equipped with SEAL Team 6 operators and Army Rangers. Task Force Green melded Delta Force operators with Army Rangers. Task Force Black was uniquely composed of UK forces, including SAS, SBS, and SRR personnel. Finally, there was Task Force Orange, the intelligence backbone of the operation, bringing together the Intelligence Support Activity, FBI, MI6, CIA, and other intelligence agencies. Each of these task forces operated independently, yet in a coordinated manner, to carry out a range of missions across the Middle East. This structure allowed for a high degree of specialization and efficiency. The diverse capabilities of each group, ranging from direct action to intelligence gathering, ensured that Task Force 145 could adapt and respond to various challenges and scenarios. Task Force 145 wasn't just a mere coalition of elite units. It was forged with a vital and daunting mission. At the heart of their agenda was the pursuit of Abu Musab al-Zarqawi, the infamous al-Qaeda leader in Iraq. Zarqawi's actions were so reprehensible that even Osama bin Laden, a notorious figure himself, disowned him. The urgency to halt Zarqawi's campaign spree was paramount, placing him at the top of the task force's hit list. But the ambitions of Task Force 145 went beyond just one man. Their broader goal was to destabilize and dismantle the network of terrorist cells operating across Iraq. In this high-stakes chess game, Task Force 145 was a key player, granted considerable latitude in their operations. They were empowered to conduct raids and capture or neutralize insurgents without the need for higher command approval, acting on intelligence as it arrived. This proactive strategy was encapsulated in the concept known as the unblinking eye, a term coined by Sean Naylor in his book, Relentless Strike: The Secret History of JSOC. The unblinking eye represented a continuous, rapid response cycle. After a raid, the task force would immediately analyze any gathered intelligence, whether it resulted in capturing individuals, documents, or electronic devices. This information was then swiftly used to launch further operations, sometimes within mere hours of the initial raid. This approach was revolutionary. It meant that Task Force 145 didn't wait for the usual bureaucratic confirmation of intelligence. Instead, they acted instantaneously, harnessing every piece of information to maintain momentum in their campaign against terror. This relentless pursuit The essence of the unblinking eye was a game changer in military strategy. It transformed intelligence into immediate action, keeping the enemy perpetually off balance. The unblinking eye approach was key to Task Force 145's success. Armed with top-tier equipment, elite operators, and extensive resources, they relentlessly pursued Zarqawi. By the summer of 2005, their operations had escalated to an extraordinary level, averaging 300 raids per month, about 10 targeted missions each day, relentlessly edging closer to Zarqawi. Task Force 145's strategy evolved over time. Initially focused on high-value individuals, they widened their net to include suspected local insurgents and key figures within enemy networks. Any hint of Zarqawi's presence triggered an immediate and thorough response, employing all necessary means to gather information. This broadened approach was strategic, aiming to dismantle the entire network around Zarqawi. By hitting different levels of the insurgency, they systematically weakened the support and operational framework of the enemy. The unblinking eye symbolized their relentless pursuit and adaptability. It was not just about the hunt for Zarqawi. It represented a comprehensive effort to disrupt and disable insurgent activities, significantly impacting their operational effectiveness and reach. Following the unblinking eye approach and their strategic evolution, Task Force 145 undertook targeted operations against some of al-Qaeda's most fortified elements under the command of Lieutenant General McChrystal. A notable operation involved targeting al-Qaeda's elite unit, known as the Black Guard. The Black Guard was a specialized force dedicated to the protection of Osama bin Laden, the notorious leader of al-Qaeda. This elite group was not just a standard protective detail. The Black Guard was composed of members who were meticulously selected and personally vetted by bin Laden himself. They were known for their exceptional weapons and combat tactics skills, making them a formidable force. Each member of the Black Guard was not only a highly trained militant, but also deeply committed to their cause, ready to lay down their lives for bin Laden. Task Force 145's operations against the Black Guard were significant because they targeted the very core of bin Laden's protective circle. This was a strategic move aimed at weakening the leadership and symbolic strength of al-Qaeda. The task force's success in these operations reflected their capability to infiltrate and dismantle even the most elite and well-guarded terrorist structures. It also underscored the high level of risk and complexity involved in such missions, as the Black Guard was known for their staunch defense and unwavering loyalty to bin Laden. Zarqawi proved elusive, skillfully evading Task Force 145 time after time. Operators would find only fresh signs of his hasty exit in some raids, like unfinished meals. Despite these frustrating near misses, the task force relentlessly pressed on. Each raid was more than just a hunt. It was a crucial opportunity to gather intelligence. Seized documents and interrogations from these operations provided valuable insights, fueling further actions. This methodical approach eventually created a momentum of its own. The continuous accumulation of intelligence and persistent efforts led to a significant breakthrough. Task Force 145's story is one of unwavering determination and strategic intelligence gathering. This journey was edging closer to a pivotal success in their mission to capture Zarqawi. Task Force 145's intelligence work led to a breakthrough when they located Zarqawi's spiritual advisor. This clue pointed them to a suspected hideout. Acting swiftly on this intel, the U.S. military prepared a decisive strike. On June 7, 2006, an Air Force F-16 jet was deployed, dropping two 500-pound guided bombs on Zarqawi's safe house while he was in a meeting, effectively neutralizing him. Task Force 145 was among the first to arrive at the scene post-strike. Their immediate task was to secure the area, followed by locating and confirming Zarqawi's identity in the aftermath. This marked the culmination of their intense and prolonged hunt. Zarqawi, the elusive target of numerous operations and the central figure in a complex web of intelligence and military strategy, was finally apprehended. The successful neutralization of Zarqawi was a monumental accomplishment, signifying the end of one of Iraq's most notorious terrorist figures. This achievement was a major morale booster for both US and UK forces, dealing a significant blow to their adversaries. Task Force 145 fulfilled its primary mission of neutralizing Zarqawi and triumphed in achieving its secondary objective. The task force's efforts led to the apprehension of thousands of terrorists. Furthermore, they managed to capture or neutralize around 200 associates and operatives connected to Zarqawi. This widespread impact significantly disrupted the terrorist network, diminishing its operational capabilities and influence. The quest to capture Zarqawi was costly for Task Force 145, which lost about 18 operators. Delta IV faced a high casualty rate, losing roughly 20% of its members. At the same time, the Special Air Service suffered 6 killed in action and 30 wounded. Though they achieved their primary goal of neutralizing Zarqawi, the fight was far from over. Zarqawi's death, significant as it was, didn't end the widespread terrorism in Iraq. The task force's continued efforts were essential in addressing the persistent threat, highlighting the ongoing struggle and the need for relentless counter-terrorism operations in the region. When Major General Caldwell announced Zarqawi's death, he cautioned, "Although Zarqawi's capture is reason to rejoice, we must be cautious not to be overly optimistic, as one man's life does not signify an end to an insurgency." Following this significant achievement, Task Force 145 transitioned to focus on other high-profile terrorists and insurgents, evolving into Task Force 88. This task force has probably undergone several name changes over the years, adapting to different missions and operational needs. Today, it's likely that they are still active, operating globally under a new, undisclosed name, continuing their vital work in combating terrorism and insurgency. Task Force 145 stood as a beacon of tactical prowess and relentless determination in the shadows of conflict. Their story, woven into the fabric of military history, reflects a relentless pursuit of peace amidst chaos. While the battle against terrorism continues, the legacy of Task Force 145 remains, a testament to courage, strategy, and the unyielding spirit of those who fight for security. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more insights into the world's most elite military units. What if I told you that behind the notorious Black Hawk Down incident, there were covert warriors whose tales remained untold? This is the story of the anonymous Navy SEALs of Black Hawk Down, the unsung heroes of the Mogadishu battle. While the 2001 film spotlighted Task Force Ranger, it scarcely touched upon these SEALs from SEAL Team 6. Among them, Howard Wasden's journey from anti-submarine missions to the chaotic streets of Mogadishu exemplifies their hidden bravery. The Mogadishu battle, a contentious chapter in U.S. military annals, gained fame through the 2001 movie Black Hawk Down, highlighting Task Force Ranger's diverse units. However, it overlooks Navy SEALs from SEAL Team 6's involvement in the 1993 raid. Among them was Howard Wasden, who joined the Navy in 1983, initially specializing in anti-submarine tactics and rescue swimming. His journey included commendable service with Anti-Submarine Squadron 7 and surviving a water helicopter crash, leading to his re-enlistment and subsequent SEAL training. In July 1987, Howard Wasden graduated from SEAL training with Class 143 and joined SEAL Team 2. By August 1993, his dedication led him to DevGru, an elite SEAL unit. Wasden, alongside 3 DevGru snipers and Commander Eric Thor Olin, joined Task Force Ranger in Mogadishu. Their mission: capture warlord Mohammed Farah Adid, notorious for attacking UN aid. Before the pivotal October 3rd raid, Wasden's team undertook several operations around Mogadishu. On the raid day, they were briefed at the airfield. Their role was to form a blockade, supporting Delta's main assault. Their critical task is to secure captives for swift extraction. This operation was rapidly organized based on intelligence received that day. The SEAL's Humvee, lacking proper shielding, came under enemy fire during the mission. Remarkably, a SEAL's life was spared when his knife intercepted a bullet, preventing a leg injury. The team, alongside Rangers, reached their blocking position near the target while Delta forces entered from above. About 37 minutes in, a radio message shifted their focus. Super 61, a Black Hawk helicopter, had been hit by an RPG. This transformed their operation from an assault to a critical rescue mission, marking a significant turning point for Wasden and his teammates in the intense Mogadishu conflict. Wasden immediately resumed his position as the driver, and the SEALs swiftly joined the convoy to secure the downed Blackhawk's site. En route, they encountered an ambush by Somali insurgents. Despite the intense firefight, they skillfully neutralized several attackers, leveraging their Humvee's agility to escape the ambush. However, the situation escalated when they received news of a second helicopter, Super 64, being shot down. Facing dwindling ammunition, increasing casualties, and an entire city seemingly in opposition, the members of Task Force Ranger confronted an increasingly dire scenario. The operation's complexity intensified when a communication mix-up led the convoy to the second crash site instead of the first, resulting in them circling back to their initial raid location. Amidst fierce combat, Wasden exhausted his ammunition, even using rounds from injured Rangers. Left with no option, he switched to his sidearm. During a slowed convoy movement, a confrontation ensued with an insurgent wielding an AK-47. Wasden's initial pistol shots missed, and the insurgent wounded him. However, Wasden successfully neutralized the threat with a subsequent shot, highlighting the intense and chaotic nature of the unfolding situation. Despite his injury, Wasden continued to engage with his sidearm after swapping seats with another SEAL. Within minutes, their situation worsened as their Humvee hit a landmine. The Kevlar blanket offered some protection, but the blast halted the vehicle. In a dramatic turn, the Quick Reaction Force, QRF, arrived, reminiscent of a cinematic rescue, providing timely aid to the beleaguered convoy. Their presence forced the insurgents to withdraw, offering a crucial respite. This intervention allowed the convoy to return to the airfield without further incidents, marking a narrow escape from the intense urban conflict. Following the battle, many of IDID's militia leaders fled Mogadishu, some even offering information against IDID to protect themselves. However, no counterattack materialized. The battle's portrayal on American TV raised concerns within the Clinton administration about potential backlash. Consequently, all operations targeting IDID were halted. 4 months later, Task Force Ranger released all previously captured prisoners. During a routine operation, Navy SEALs were ambushed by a large group of Somali insurgents. The daytime raid, without the concealment of darkness, significantly disadvantaged the operators. Additionally, the absence of armored vehicles or gunships in the urban setting notably diminished American technological superiority. Welcome to a world where mystery meets mastery, a realm where the CIA and NSA, the titans of intelligence, orchestrate operations that are the stuff of legends. Hidden within this shadowy sphere are 2 units whose names whisper of ultra-confidential missions and top-secret endeavors: the Special Collection Service, SCS, and the elusive Scorpion program. In this video, we're peeling back the layers of the CIA's best-kept secret, the Black Ops Squad. Join us as we delve into the covert operations that shape our world, operations so secretive that they're almost invisible to the public eye. Are you ready to uncover the truth? The Special Collections Service, inaugurated in 1978, represents a formidable collaboration between the CIA and NSA. This unit, often referred to as F6, or the Mission Impossible Force, is akin to an elite team combining the finest talents from both agencies. The inception of the SCS was driven by a crucial need: to amalgamate experts in cryptography and espionage. This was particularly important in a world increasingly dominated by data, where information wields extraordinary power. The role of the Special Collections Service, SCS, is pivotal in the sphere of intelligence gathering. Their primary mission is to establish signals intelligence capabilities in regions where conventional methods are not feasible, particularly in hostile territories. The scope of SCS's operations is extensive, encompassing a range of covert activities. These include intercepting communication lines, tampering with internet infrastructures, configuring cellular networks, and setting up satellite communications in adversary regions. SCS operatives work on the ground, often preceding the arrival of any military forces. These operations are carried out by compact teams working with security contractors and technicians. Their operations are typically conducted under the veil of night in some of the world's most dangerous zones. The SCS's contributions span several decades, from the tense periods of the Cold War to contemporary conflicts against insurgencies. Nonetheless, the inherently secretive nature of the agency means that many details of its operations remain undisclosed to the public. The Scorpion program, working alongside the SCS under the Global Response Staff, focuses on protecting CIA agents abroad. Comprising elite operators primarily from top-tier units like Delta Force and DevGru, this unit excels in challenging environments. Their training and selection are as intriguing as they are secretive. Like the SCS, the Scorpion program is funded through a black budget, a term for finances allocated to confidential, classified national projects operating away from public and legislative oversight. A notable operation linked to the SCS was the purported wiretapping of German Chancellor Angela Merkel's private cell phone. This operation came to light in October 2013 through disclosures by former NSA contractor Edward Snowden. These revelations suggested extensive NSA surveillance of communications from European and South American leaders and civilians, sparking significant diplomatic repercussions for the U.S. government. One remarkable tale involving the SCS is their role in eliminating a top insurgent in Pakistan. SCS agents established an outpost in a CIA-leased apartment just a mile from the insurgents' hideout. They utilized laser technology on the building's windows to monitor the number of individuals inside, focusing on one who never left the premises. On May 2, 2011, this high-value target was neutralized by SEAL Team 6 during a raid on the compound. In a rare event, the Scorpion program experienced a loss on November 27, 2014, when a security contractor was killed in a firefight in Afghanistan. The specifics are vague and might stay undisclosed, highlighting the direct involvement of a U.S. intelligence agency in frontline operations separate from the CIA. The existence of covert units like the SCS and the Scorpion program underscores the lengths to which intelligence agencies will go to protect national interests. These units are a fusion of technological expertise and human ingenuity, enabling them to execute covert operations across the globe. Although their missions might resemble scenes from a spy thriller, they reveal the genuine complexities and perils inherent in the intelligence field. Delving into the secretive operations of these units, it becomes evident that sometimes reality is indeed stranger and more astounding than fiction. The activities of units like the SCS and Scorpion programs were impressively covert and impactful, leaving us to wonder about their current operations. Although only a handful of people are privy to the full extent of their missions, the intrigue surrounding these units continues to captivate many,